We've got one last game to talk about here tonight as part of our special content reveals. Well, finally, let's talk a little bit about Elite Dangerous. Welcome to the stage to talk about the future of Elite Dangerous, lead designer Sandro Samarco, game director Lawrence Oldham, and art director Chris Gregory. Hello. Greetings. Thank you so much. Thank you for joining us. Have you had a good day so far?
Fantastic day so far, yeah, great. And I want a laser and dry ice every time I enter the room from now on. That is
pretty cool, right? You enjoy that, yeah. Because, I mean, we're all now breathing in noxious gas. But I'm sure it will
onion head. Is anyone behind? I'm not
yeah. Are you still there? I can see through this cloud of gas. Awesome. It's been an amazing year, I think, for Elite Dangerous. Well, an amazing 3 years for Elite Dangerous. The team seems to be as strong as ever. There are as many of you working on it as there ever have been.
Yep.
Is it still as rewarding and exciting to work on now as it was back then when you first started?
Absolutely, totally. I get to work on an awesome game like Elite Dangerous. It gets released, and then we get to keep going back to it and make improvement after dramatic improvement after dramatic improvement. What is not to like?
Exactly that. We're like 3+ years now.
Yeah, that's right.
So yeah, we're 3+ years deep now on the project, and it just keeps kind of engaging me, I think, and the rest of the team to just make it better and better and keep adding new things to the game, really. And it's really great that some of the things that we've been working on for so long get to see the light of day, like the Thargoids recently getting out. Those were really great, and there's loads of other things like that we can't wait to share.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So working with a talented and dedicated team, it's always a privilege, and seeing the amazing things that they produce, but also the wonderful support and enthusiasm and passion that the community brings to what we do. Many of them are with us tonight.
Absolutely.
That's you guys.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely amazing. And you mentioned the talented and dedicated team, and I think we've actually got a little behind-the-scenes video to play you guys of the team doing what they do best.
Elite Dangerous makes it wonderful for me to come to work in the morning because I'm just constantly dealing with people that are so passionate about the game.
Everyone is enthusiastic, everyone is committed, everyone's pulling it in the same direction to try and create this huge, expansive multiplayer space game.
Everyone's just working on it because they love this game, so we all want to kind of get together and make it the best it can be.
It's something that myself and the entire team pour our hearts and souls into, and we just want to keep going.
They truly love what they're doing. They truly love making this epic space game.
It continues to grow. It continues to surprise you. Elite Dangerous is undergoing constant development. It enables us to just keep making the game better and better.
The community is just so passionate. It never fails to surprise me. I'm always amazed by the speed and the enthusiasm that people put into their posts and just the love they have for the game. It's always very humbling.
I love their passion. They have just been constantly supporting us.
We look at posts from people, it had so much meaning for them. They're always trying new things and discovering new things that basically make the game constantly fresh and interesting.
Lots of exciting stuff that's coming, and it's going to be incredible seeing everyone's reaction.
There's going to be a lot of amazing, interesting experiences.
The real awesome stuff and the fun stuff is definitely yet to come.
Looking forwards, there's billions of systems out there that could be hiding surprises. Let's go exploring.
Not to take away from that beautiful video, but there is a large amount of me pointing at things in that video.
We do a lot of pointing in the office.
Right, yeah,
lots
we didn't want to mention it.
like that.
Yeah, sorry.
Also,
I've got a serious pointing problem. Okay, so why don't we... I mean, so much exciting stuff to talk about today. So what does 2018 hold for Elite Dangerous?
So we've got an amazing series of updates to talk about tonight for 2018. They're kind of built around three kind of principles or three areas. So there's the core game, which is the foundations of Elite. It's kind of going to that and building on the foundations of Elite. Then there's the narrative, so it's expanding the dynamic and engaging narrative that we've got in Elite. And finally, a series of new features that complement those two and build on those two.
Great. So why don't you go into...
So we're going to call this new series Beyond. As promised, an amazing...
A roadmap, yeah.
It's a roadmap.
Yep, that's it, the amazing roadmap. It's beautiful detail. So as you can see, in the first quarter, we've got our initial large release. So this is obviously going to bring some of the new core improvements, expanding the narrative, and some of the new features. This is just a stepping stone towards a much larger update that we're putting out in quarter 4. Between those, we've got 2 really great content updates, which are going to bring you new ships, missions, scenarios. We're going to kind of add more content, more narrative that you can engage in, whilst the main bulk of the team is focusing on some of the really cool and exciting features that we're going to be putting into quarter 4 that we'll be discussing later on this evening.
Fantastic. Thank you, Lawrence. Sandy, why don't we go into some detail?
Yes, okay.
What's coming first of all? We like to do things chronologically in the quarter 1 update.
So yeah, this first update. So as well as a lot of wizardry that's going on under the hood for the long-term benefit of the game, we're going to see a bunch of some really cool quality-of-life improvements to core gameplay. So non-exhaustive list, kind of off the top of my head, maybe not. We've got things like engineering. We're going to make sure that every time you craft and upgrade an engineer, it's always better than what you've currently got. We're going to have... yeah, absolutely. And more.
And more.
Yeah. So we've got crime and punishment. We're going to give system authorityships some real teeth and tactics so they can much better support the concept of consequence for criminality across human space. Trade. Thank you.
It would be nice if these guys just followed you around applauding everything that you say.
Trade, we're going to give you access to much better trade data, much more accurate trade data, so you can make much more informed decisions when you're trying to buy low and sell high. And wings, we're going to introduce some rather challenging wing missions that you can take on with your friends as a team. So,
I like that.
Yeah. Really looking forward to getting engaged in the community about these features and more in the days and months to come. So very exciting.
Non-exhaustive list, like you said, and it's not just the feel of Elite Dangerous, not just the, like we said, like Lawrence said, we're going in and we're looking at improving the core experience of Elite Dangerous. We're also looking at adding new features and continuing a narrative, but also the look of Elite Dangerous. You know, first of all, congratulations to the art team for the look of Elite Dangerous. It's just
absolutely.
They work really hard.
It's part of what makes Elite so special.
Sure, absolutely.
Yeah.
So,
seeded.
one of the really great things about the continued development of Elite is that we get to go back and we get to polish some of our assets. And as you can see here, we'll be doing that with our planetary tech starting from the first update next year. And what we'll be doing with that, as you can see here, this is work in progress stuff, but it's all building towards the end release. And what we'll be doing is revisiting the shaders and the graphs that produce our planets. And we'll be bringing out some of the contrast and the details in there that's already in the system, but also adding more. so you get a richer, more detailed look. We'll also be adding a wider variety of colour variation.
Yeah!
To the simulation. And we're pleased to say you'll be seeing that variation throughout the galaxy from Update 1.
Good stuff. Amazing, amazing, amazing. Right. Good stuff. So, let's talk about some of the narrative then. Yeah. Like you say, the narrative was an important part of Elite Dangerous Horizons and 2.4. Yeah. So is that narrative going to continue throughout the Beyond series of updates?
Absolutely. So as I said, one of the 3 areas that we're looking into is narrative. Narrative is core to that. It's also one of the things that Dave and the team are most passionate and engaged in. So having got that sorted out, Elite has a unique narrative.
Experience.
There are so many people are playing it, but everybody that plays it, whatever platform they're on, whatever mode they're in, they're all progressing and engaging in the narrative, whether that's through CGs, community gold, background sim, or things that they find, puzzles that they're solving out there. Everybody's contributing to this amazing narrative web that's being built and contributed to. So I think we've got a little bit of footage of people exploring one of these narrative threads, as it were.
Take a look.
So, a bit of a recap really of some of the narrative threads that have happened recently.
So yeah, absolutely. What you saw there was some community members and groups like Canon going out and exploring these ancient ruins that were hosted by this race called the Guardians and starting to unravel some of the story. Now, this is just a single thread in a whole host of threads that are intertwined and linked together that's in Elite. And for the Beyond series, Update 1, we're actually looking at, obviously, continuing the story of the Guardians.
Yeah, and it's also sort of a personal progression.
So there's one side of it. So obviously, when we're talking about narrative, we're talking not about just words. We're talking about experiences. We're talking about people engaging in groups, having CGs, going out there hunting, working together, uncovering things. But one of the great things that we're looking at adding into this is not only will these people be progressing the kind of global narrative of Elite, we're now going to be unlocking a personal narrative when you're going to these things. So I think we've got some images of some of the sort of technologies that you may well be able to, a tantalizing peek at some of the things you might be unlocking in these new personal narratives that we're bringing to Elite. Now, who knows what on earth these things do, but I'm sure that you'll be interested to play with them when they arrive.
Yeah, but I think it's absolutely
amazing stuff.
So it does seem like there's a lot of new content, new story content, like you say, the personal progression, the personal narrative, unlocking awesome, new, cool stuff. But that's, again, seems like quite a lot of story going into Galnet.
Absolutely. There's a lot of stories, a lot of threads in Elite, and as Lawrence has alluded to, there's going to get a heck of a lot more. People thought we were done with the Guardians. I don't think so. So we're always really interested in looking at new ways of delivering that information to the players within the game, which is why I'm really pleased that we're getting another cool new feature, which I think it can probably just speak for itself.
Greetings, Commanders. For over a century, the Galnet news agency has been bringing news to the entire galaxy. Now, we are introducing a new feature. Galnet Audio. Galactic leaders have declared a galaxy-wide state of emergency in response to the rapidly escalating Thargoid threat. A number of ships and outposts have been attacked in recent days, resulting in a high number of casualties. Security patrols have been stepped up throughout core systems, and civilians are being advised to avoid all non-essential travel. Both the Federal President and the Emperor are expected to make public statements soon. Galnet Audio. Your galaxy in focus.
So, as the video kind of insinuates there, you'll be able to listen to Galnet Audio as you fly about on your ship doing whatever it is that you...
Absolutely. It's really important when we get a feature like this that we get maximum usage out of it. So you're in a cockpit all the time, yeah? You're always flying a ship, so you'll be able to fire this bad boy up and off it will trot, yeah, whilst you're playing.
Fantastic. Great news.
Absolutely.
So, ladies and gentlemen, speaking of ships...
As we were.
Ships?
Like ships.
You spend a lot of time at your ships, Chris, as part of the Beyond series of updates. Are we going to see any more ships?
Absolutely. So it's great to be able to say that we'll be seeing a lot more ships in the coming updates. And
yeah.
No, please.
So the ships and the hardware in the game are definitely some of my favourite things to work on, and it's really good to work with the really talented concept artists, texture artists, model artists to come up with the look and the feel of the ships, trying to make them as different as possible, trying to make each one as unique as possible, and then also the designers to come up with the actual role of the ship. What does it do? What makes it special? VFX audio, giving it the character that it needs as well. They do a sterling job. So it's really a collaborative thing when we make ships, and it's great to say that we're getting more of those coming. So, with that in mind, we thought we might take a look at some of those ships.
Well, before we do, maybe we should ask everybody here. Oh, no, it's too late. Beat me to it. There it is.
Okay, so that is a grey render of a ship that we are calling the Chieftain. And we're really pleased with the look. So this is kind of work in progress mesh. We wanted to bring it along today to give a sneak peek. It's untextured, and it's not got any of the shaders on there that it will end up having in game, so we look forward to sort of sharing the development process on that in the coming months. But maybe it would be good to go into a little backstory about how it fits into the narrative as well. So this is quite a unique ship in that it's an answer really to the fact that the universe has recently gotten a little more dangerous with the return of the Thargoids, who you guys have been having a fun time with recently. And basically what it is the Alliance have partnered with Lakon, one of our ship manufacturers. And they've been working on these ships. And what it kind of combines, I think, is the existing aesthetic that we had with the previous Lakon ships, but with a slightly more military kind of aggressive feel. And we're really pleased with them. We can't wait to get people flying them.
Yeah, fantastic. Round of applause, please, for the Chieftain. I think it looks absolutely brilliant. Yeah. And of course, you did mention the Alliance word there as well, Chris.
For sure.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, but this ship is completely new to the Elite lore.
This ship and all of the other Alliance ships that will be coming in the update. This is not just the only one there. Right. All of those ships are completely new designs, names to the Elite universe. However, the Elite galaxy and narrative is rich and there's lots of history there, and occasionally we like to dive back into that history, and we like to resurrect one of the older designs and give it a bit of polish, come up with colouring in between the lines to work out what that's going to look like for the modern ship. So, okay. So I think that's called the crate. Right, okay, cool. I'm glad we got that right. Yeah, well, I think we've got some images of what we're looking at with the crate. So, again, this is a rough block out. It's not quite as worked up as the one that you saw for the Chieftain, but again, we wanted to bring it along just to give a little snapshot of where we're thinking of going with it. We think it's got some really nice features. It's got very unique cockpit placement that we're very pleased with, really unique view from the front, and the hardware and hardpoint placement is kind of cool too. So, looking forward to flying that next year.
Absolutely. So please, round of applause, please. Show some appreciation. And there are a few commanders who will be very, very pleased to hear about that announcement. So after the Q1 update, as Lawrence mentioned before, there's then a couple of smaller updates in between.
Yeah, so those obviously, as I said before, going to bring you the new ships, new scenarios, new missions, and kind of progress the narrative as well. So those will be really engaging and good beats.
Yeah, and there's a couple of smaller updates in between.
Yeah, absolutely. Before leading up to the 3.
Great, okay. And then, then it's Q4 update, which is arguably the largest update that we're doing, great. I think Sandy may have some detail about what might be coming.
Right, yeah, the Q4 update. New feature time! So we all know that players love working together, right? Lots of really awesome player groups out there. So what we're going to do is we're going to introduce a new organisational structure for player groups that we're calling squadrons. So, So squadrons are, you're going to be able to create your own squadron. We're going to give you the tools to manage the membership of it and the hierarchy of it. And what squadrons are going to bring to the game and bring to your team is enhanced communications options. So it's going to really make coordinating your efforts as a group a whole lot easier, whether you're completing community goals or whether you're supporting your power and power play or just manipulating the background simulation. The whole experience hopefully is going to get a lot slicker, a lot more efficient, and a lot more fun. So we're really looking forward to bringing that into the game. However, just as an extra little treat, we're going to allow squadrons to purchase their own fleet carriers. So these are, So these really large vessels, these really large dockable vessels, are going to act as a mobile base of operations for squadrons, where its members can refuel, rearm, and respawn. So hopefully it's going to be quite a bit of fun.
Very popular.
So we could have stopped there, apparently, but there are some other areas of the game that's getting some love too.
Yeah, we're kind of silly and we like trying to do too much. So obviously the Q4 update and the Beyond Series updates, one of the focuses is core gameplay. So to that end, we're going to take a look at one of the features that's been in the game early on, from pretty much from the beginning, which is mining. We're going to give mining some love and attention. So we're going to improve the way that you detect and extract resources when you're mining. In effect, we're going to give you a kind of miner's toolkit of modules and capabilities, give you options and varieties and choice when you're out there in the black. Importantly, what we're going to try and invoke is the feeling of Wild West prospecting. Now, whether that's through jeopardy, through like crises and challenges, unforeseen cropping up when you're out there in the black trying to get the rewards, or through the concept of striking it big, striking it rich, hitting the mother lode, deep core blasting an entire special asteroid, for example, to get a bonanza of rewards. So the end result, hopefully, is going to make mining a fully fledged feature that players can aspire to progress through, and importantly, have a lot of fun in the moment-to-moment gameplay whilst they're doing so. Yeah.
Chris, you mentioned, I feel like I keep cutting the applause off. I'm sorry about that. You mentioned planetary tech earlier in Q1, but the art team are always hard at work at making improvements. You've got a target that you're trying to sort of hit for Q4 as well.
Absolutely. So the stuff that we spoke about earlier is really just the beginning of a process that we're going to undertake throughout the year. We want to get as much out as soon as we can, so there'll be some coming in the first update, but for the final update of the year, we have this art target. This, to be very clear, is concept art. It's painted over the top of some of our landscapes, and what our artists have done here is basically provided us with a roadmap, really, for where we want to get to with the look of our planets. And that's really useful for us because it really focuses on getting the right things into the game to enhance them and really make them even better than they are now. So I think it'd be useful to just go into a little bit of the techniques that we're going to use to try and do justice to this piece of art. So we will be getting in an improved lighting model for the game. And this will benefit not just the planetary aspects of the game, but also its global. So that's going to make lighting in space much better as well. So that, I think, is a really positive thing. We'll also be looking at an improvement to what we call our scatter rock system. And that is the technique that we use to sort of populate the planet's surface with boulders and the like. And what we're going to be doing with that is really pushing it and getting a greater variety of size and shape and scale and different forms in there to really make the environments a lot more compelling to navigate and a lot prettier as well.
Fantastic.
And we'll also be looking at localized ambient effects for fog and vapor. And we really think that that's going to bring an increased depth to the visuals that you'll be getting when you're exploring our planets.
Fantastic news. Yeah, it sounds very good. Fog and vapor. Chris, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think you just used the word exploring.
I did, on purpose.
No, but in all seriousness, I think this next thing that Lawrence is going to tell us about, there's a large part of our community that have been waiting for some love for quite a while, and it's the explorers out there. So this,
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, I thought so.
So, exploration has always been fundamental to Elite. It's one of the cores. Vast galaxy, so much to see, so much to do, so much to find. So, as with mining, we're going to go back and add and build on the systems, the processes, and the features we're putting in the game, so that, again, you can have a whole suite of different activities that are going to be much more engaging and much more focused around how you find stuff out there in the galaxy. Obviously, this is great, not just for explorers, but for anybody that's in the game that's looking for something. So missions, whether it's commodities or resources, it's going to really help direct and focus and lift the game. So not just the core features, but also new features on top of that. We're looking at adding codex. So the codex will log your discoveries and the things that you've found, but will also act as a kind of encyclopedia, so giving more depth and context to the things that you've found, and also possibly hinting at other things that you might be able to find out there.
I think well, I was just really quickly, if you don't mind me, I think the codex is a really exciting thing, and as you said, it's going to be. I'm just excited to fill that up, tick all those boxes off, and it's super exciting, and also using those new exploration tools, like you said, to go and do that, and combining all that up, it's super exciting, and I don't know if you have any more to add.
So well, obviously, what are explorers interested in? They're interested in finding new things. So obviously, this comes with a host of new content, so new phenomenon, new anomalies that are going to be out there in the black for you guys to go and find and experience.
I think that's genuinely going to be changing up the way that we explore the galaxy in Elite Dangerous.
Yeah, and what is out there to find.
Absolutely. Fantastic. That's very exciting in stuff. I mean, that is a lot of stuff as well. I mean, we've not even covered everything that's going to be in the Beyond series of updates in what we've talked about today.
No, absolutely. These are just some of the great and really exciting features that we're looking forward to bringing you guys in the Beyond series of updates 2018.
Yeah, and I think it's worth mentioning to you here as well and everybody at home that everything that we've talked about in today's presentation will be coming to all Elite Dangerous Horizons players for, well, absolutely free. Yeah, boy! And it does all sound absolutely incredible, and I'm sure you guys and everybody at home and the team are so very, very excited to tell you more about it in lots more details, and as more details come out that we can share with you guys about all these different features and everything that's coming. The Galaxy is a very exciting place, and it's going to get even more exciting and even more dangerous as well.
Absolutely.
But do you remember as well that 2.4 The Return because that's not even it. Like 2.4 The Return has only just started as well. And as the narrative progresses, it's going to get even more and more interesting. I think actually, well, let's take a look at a sneak peek at what's coming up in the next few weeks with 2.4. So, thank you so much. A huge thank you to Sandy Samarco, Lawrence Oldham, and Chris Gregory. Thank you, guys. So that is